Pirate Handyman, where we help you become more self-sufficient and save coin for your treasure chest. If you dig what we're doing, hit that subscribe button down below and the notification bell, and that way every time a new video drops, which is every Tuesday and Thursday, you'll be notified with more tips on how you can become more self-sufficient and save coin for your treasure chest. So today we are going to replace a faucet. Sometimes you can attempt to fix these faucets. This is not the same faucet that we attempted to fix in another video and that didn't work, so now we have to replace it. But we do have to replace this. So what we're going to have to do is several steps to get this done. It takes a little bit of time and you got to be patient. It doesn't always go well the first time, but we'll try to show you exactly what to do. So, I'll show you step one. Step one is we're going to turn the water off, and then we're going to take the water lines loose. And once we get the water lines loose, we're going to then take this unit out, and we're also going to take out the drain stopper and all of the little accoutrement that is below that. So let's go ahead, and you'll see once we get under there, there's going to be three things that we have to take loose. We're going to have to take the feeder line from the water mains, or the water lines coming in. We'll take those loose, and then we take it loose from under here, and then there's a separate set of big nuts under there that are holding this on, and we'll take those off. So first we're going to take this line off, and this is where the water comes in from your main line. Then we're going to take it loose up here and take this all the way off. Then next thing you can see, there's a big spinning nut up here. We're going to loosen that so we can take the faucet itself out. And we're also going to take apart the drain stopper. We'll get that apparatus out of the way, and then what you can't see is underneath here there's actually a big nut that we're going to have to loosen to get the whole stopper assembly out. So first, let's turn off the water. And we'll turn on the spigot just to make sure that we've got it off, and we do. So next, we'll take this loose here. So next we're going to take it loose up on the top using our adjustable crescent wrench. Alright, to take your stopper assembly out, there's a few things you have to take off. First, this little nut up here. You want to just loosen it. And this will allow the little handle to come all the way up. Then this you can just pinch together. You can see it, and it just comes right off like this. And then to get this out, take this off, but you have to use the right size. Broke the last fin.
Things don't always go as planned in the DIY world, and we wanted to show you what happens when they do go wrong and that you can fix it. Something that should have taken probably an hour or less. Well, here we are about 4 or 5 days later after having to do a lot of fun things. So here we are.
Okay. When we started this was going to be, 30 minutes to an hour. It is now 5 days later. I'll explain to you the issues that we had. To get the old one off, you remember there was just these little nylon bolts. Well, the problem is, if you look here, you can see where they used a lot of plumber's putty. And in the directions for our new one, it says don't use plumber's putty. And here's why. This that was on this side, this nylon nut, it basically was glued onto there, and no matter what type of tool we used 3 different types of wrenches, all it was doing was tearing it up. So what you see here is I had to go in with a Dremel tool, and I had to actually cut it in 2 places and then open it up and take it off. So that was the first problem. So the second problem that we ran into was with the drain. And you'll see when we replace the drain, the part that I'll be talking about. But this top part here, you can see there's threads. This top part screws onto here, but you can see that it's very corroded because they used a type of adhesive that they shouldn't have used. So I ended up having to take a hacksaw and cut this off. Now, in the process of cutting this, even though I was holding on to the sink and trying not to move it, ended up pulling the anchors out of the drywall. You'll see we have another video up on how to reset a pedestal sink and what we had to go through there. So now, like I said, 5 days later, it took quite a while to, didn't take the whole 5 days. I was working a few hours here, a few hours there, because, I had to tend to me ship. We're going to reset all the new things. All right, so I'm going to put the drain in first, just because I have more room to work when I don't have the lines coming down from the faucet. And as you can see, this screws on, and this is what we ended up having to cut off. So I'm going to take this off. There's a cover on here to keep it all nice and shiny, and it's going to set right down in here, just like so. But we want to make sure that we get a good seal around here. So I'm going to take some plumber's putty. Now, it doesn't, in the instructions, it doesn't say not to use plumber's putty here. And I'm not going to use any type of, corrosive caulking or adhesive. So what you do is you just take a little bit of plumber's putty, and you can get this at pretty much any hardware store. And I'm going to roll it between my palms to get it thin, just to make a rope. And then I'm going to put this under here, kind of work it around so it goes all the way around. And that'll help form a nice tight seal. So I'm going to put that in there. Then I'm going to come up from below and screw this on. Now you'll see that when I screw this on, this piece is going to have to go straight back, because this is what's going to operate the stopper. So once I get it finger tight, then I'm going to screw this rubber piece up, and then I'm going to tighten this nylon bolt here. And I'm not going to have a whole lot of room to work in there, so that's why you're probably not going to be able to see all of this. I just want to show you exactly what we're going to do. Alright, so now I've taken this piece off. This is the seal, and then the nylon nut that I'm going to put on the bottom of the piece that I just installed. Put this one on first. And then the other one you can see there's a bevel. You want the bevel to be down. Then I'm going to take my P-trap, and this is going to go up onto the downspout from the drain, and this will hook into the piece going into the wall. And what you can't see happening back here is I'm having to realign the piece that's coming out of the wall and pull it out a little bit so I can get it to line up. And one thing to remember when you're putting any type of PVC P-traps together, you want to keep all of the nuts loose. You just get them started, but keep them all loose because you're going to have to make adjustments, and that's what's really nice about them as opposed to the old copper or metal ones. And of course we'll have to check once we get this sink put back together to make sure we have no leaks back here. Alright, so we got everything nice and tight now. Now it's time to hook the faucet up. Alright, so now we're going to put this new guy in. So I've taken the nuts off of here. And again, as it says in the instructions, don't have to use any type of seal. You know, whether that be plumber's putty or nylon tape, plumber's tape. Just set it in. And then we'll go in from underneath. Now there's usually a little plastic seat, as you can see underneath here. I want to make sure that that seat is where it's supposed to be. So we'll put that on. Now again, like with the P-trap, I'm just going to get these finger tight. I'm not going to get them all the way tight because I may need a little bit of room when I'm putting the water intake lines back on. So just get that snug. Now remember, we're going to try to use the old lines, and here's what they look like. So I'll be pushing, this one is going to go on the bottom. It'll hook into the threaded part, and then this is going to go into the actual water line that's coming out of the wall. So I'm going to finger tighten this coming down off of the water intake, and then go up and get it finger tight up here. And again, you want to be careful that you don't cross thread anything. Now I'm going to take this a little bit loose because the angle is not working. You have to jimmy with it sometimes. But again, when you're wiggling, you want to be careful because that's how we pulled the sink out last time. Now we'll get the top one. Okay, so now it's time to put the stopper control and all that lever and everything in there. Now when we put the stopper back in, I want to put it in to where it's like this, because this is going to go in here, and you can see this one actually has guides on it. I haven't seen this type before. And then what we're going to do is slide this on. We decide exactly where we want it, and then the pusher, little handle here, is going to go down through the top here, and it will come right into this. And you can see it's got a little nub there if we read our directions correctly. Once we put it in there, we just push it down and it'll lock. So I'll put this in here. So you can see now when we manually use it back here, it pushes it up and down. So we've got it right now in the up position. Like I said, the new little thing that we put right here, we push that down in the hole. Now we take our long black piece right here. Now we're going to push it through one of these holes before I put the lock on it. So I'm going to put it through one of these holes. And it's okay just to eyeball it at first. Put the little lock down. Then we've got it pulled up like that and it's stopped. Now it's open. Alright, so now we got a nice functional sink. Make sure that there's no leaks. The drain's working and everything is hunky-dory.
So after we stopped filming this and the film crew had gone home, we developed two issues. The first one you can see here, this is where we attached the hot side water intake to the water line, and you can see there's some white underneath there. Well, we developed a little leak there, and the way you fix it is with what's called plumber's tape, and or it's sometimes called Teflon tape. And what you do is you just take, grab it here, you take it like this, you cut off a piece, and in this case you can see right here, what we would do is we would just wrap the tape once. If there's a little bit of overlap, that's fine. And then when we tightened the nut back down on here, it would form a seal, and we did stop the leak that way. Now the second thing that happened is we developed a leak that I thought was coming from the P-trap, but actually what had happened is this flange here that we put in the bottom of the sink, this is where the drain attaches back here. We had put this plumber's putty around it. And whenever you're using plumber's putty on something like this, you want to put enough on there so that when you tighten it down, it starts coming up from the outside edge. That means it's sealing all the way around, and you literally can just take your finger and scrape it off. And if you notice in the video, if you go back to that portion, you'll see that we didn't have any putty coming up. So we didn't have enough putty, and what happened was the water was actually seeping down this way and coming down the outside. So once we replaced put more putty around here, just a bigger rope, and pushed it down in, and as we tightened it, it started squirting out, so we knew that we had enough in there. So, in the interest of transparency, just want to show you that not everything always goes right, but you can fix it.
Alright, so thanks for joining us on the Pirate Handyman. As you can see, we showed you all the problems. It doesn't always go smoothly, but you can always work it out. It just takes a little bit of thought, and you can do it. So thanks for joining us. If you dig what we're doing, hit that subscribe button down below and the little notification bell. And that way, anytime a new video drops, you'll be notified with another tip on how you can save coin for your treasure chest and become more self-sufficient. Here's to smooth sailing.